there's another level of the system that we don't pay much attention to. And it's not just the tokens that are flowing, but the way that the system that holds those tokens works. So it starts from somebody conceiving it and designing it and building it, and then launching and helping it gain adoption, tuning, evaluating, getting feedback, redesigning, maybe rebuilding. There's like this cycle that may be happening. And all of that kind of revolves around a core vision for what role the currency or what purpose the currency serves. And if you're being responsible, you should also have a plan for the wind down and closing of the currencies, because all currencies do come to an end. And it's nice to know that. I know some people out there would like to think that these cryptocurrencies will never end, but they will. They all do. Everything does, and they should. We should move on. We should evolve. And so one of the interesting things about this, though, is that systems don't run themselves. I think it's really interesting that we've put these things out there. We've put cryptocurrencies out there that have distributed or decentralized issuance and accounting, and we claim that it's a decentralized currency, even though there's no decentralized method of governance attached. So then we have sort of this chaos of power plays between miners and software developers and that kind of stuff, because systems don't run themselves. They actually need to be governed by the people who created them or the people who are using them. And the real power in a currency actually happens at this level of system governance, not at the level of tokens, because you can change the rules about all the tokens. And when all we see are the transaction patterns of tokens, and we don't even see the higher level of the system interplay, then we actually miss like where the puppet strings are on the system. So this is kind of an important curtain to kind of peel away so that we can see all these things. The other thing is that there's a lot of possible decisions to make in currency design. Most people are only looking at, like, maybe even most alternative currency people that are not just crypto people are only looking at a handful of decisions in this whole decision tree that is I've organized by the token life cycle and the currency life cycle. So there's all these patterns of issuance that are possible and patterns of accounting and tracking, and this is where some of the cryptocurrency and digital signing and all that kind of stuff comes into play. And there's patterns of formalization, like, are you even going to use numbers, or are you going to use names, or are you going to use whole numbers? You can formalize things in different ways, rankings and all of that kind of stuff, but we don't think about that. We tend to just think in terms of rational divisible parts like money, and there's this way in which money kind of occupies so much of our imagination of what's possible that we miss the range of expression that's possible in currencies. And so the impact of this is that blockchain actually could be so much more about tokens, so much more than about tokens. Like, what's happened is it's kind of like blockchain was released with its first app being Bitcoin, a thing that makes coins, digital coins or tokens. And it's kind of not graduated much beyond that, even with like Ethereum tackling, trying to build a global computer and build distributed apps and that kind of stuff. It seems that the killer app for blockchain is tokenization, is building tokens. And so now everybody is like looking through this lens of tokenization and looking at, how do I tokenize the world? And unfortunately, tokenizing the world has a tendency to break things, because if tokens, digital fungible tokens, one is equal to another no matter what setting it's in. And that just isn't the case. People are not just equal to another. You can't just plug them in and change them. A pound of beef is not just equal to another pound of beef when this one's in a living cow. You know what I mean? Like, that breaks the cow. It breaks patterns when you try to treat everything like it's just fungible, replaceable tokens, and you put that lens on and try to interact with the whole world that way. You actually start breaking patterns of wealth in community, of relationship, of these kinds of things.